Good morning. Today I thought, this morning as I woke up, I had echoing in my mind the lovely song from the Messiah. Every valley shall be exalted, and every mountain and hill laid low. It comes from Isaiah 40, verse 4. In a little passage, well, actually the whole chapter is very prophetic. Isaiah was a great prophet, and he prophesied about the one that would come before the Messiah, that there would be a herald, there would be someone who would declare that the Messiah had come. There would be, as there was in those days, of course, if a great leader was coming to your town, there would be a herald announcing his arrival. Just like when, there's always a warning that the king is coming to visit, and there are those who go before to prepare the way for him. Now, we have a king here in England, in the UK rather, I should say, and all my life we've been talking about a queen, but now we talk about a king, and the analogy between the king and what happens when the king comes to visit. Everybody turns out, everybody wants to see the king and to welcome him. And these passages in the Old Testament prophesy about John the Baptist, who doesn't get much of a following. He doesn't get much, not many people talk much about him, but Jesus himself said that John the Baptist was the greatest of the Old Testament prophets. He was the last of the Old Covenant prophets and the first of the new, really. He was the herald. And in Isaiah 40 it says, in verse 3, a voice cries, in the wilderness prepare the way of the Lord, make straight in the desert a highway for our God. Every valley shall be lifted up, and every mountain and hill made low. The uneven ground shall become level, and the rough places a plain, and the glory of the Lord shall be revealed. And of course, John says of Jesus, the Word became flesh and dwelt amongst us, and we beheld his glory. The glory of the Lord was revealed in Jesus. And John was the one given the task of making the way, telling people the time of waiting was over, the Messiah was coming, and they should get ready. And how were they to get ready? This passage talks about physical things, like valleys being lifted up, and mountains being reduced in size, and rough ground being made flat and easy to travel over, and the desert having a highway built in it. So what was he talking about? These are all figurative ways of saying the wilderness. A wilderness, nothing grows. In most of people's lives, without Jesus, nothing grows. Nothing of any worth grows. And what John was saying was, get ready for the Messiah, everything in your lives is going to have to change. Sort your lives out. Get ready. Just like you would if the king was coming to visit. You'd have a tidy up, wouldn't you? You'd have a spit and polish. You would sort everything out. I mean, we have been watching. There's some wonderful documentaries that have been made about events in the first year of our new king's reign, including the coronation and the major events of his first year, and the preparations made for the coronation, for example, was at least 8 weeks of preparation of all manner of things, everything from the crowns that would be worn, the robes were made, and the practicing of everything for the day was done. Everything was got ready. And so for the coming of the King of Kings, coming of the Messiah, the Anointed One, things had to be got ready. And I think we might, unless the Lord leads me somewhere else, look in detail at what John asked people to do. What he said to them was, you've got to change. You've got to change the rough places in your lives, the wrong things you're doing has to stop. You've got to change. You've got to see what you're doing is wrong. You've got to see the path you're travelling is rough and it's wrong and it needs to change. If you steal from people, you need to give the money back. If you're unkind to your neighbour, you need to change. You'll see if you look at the account of what John preached. He preached change. You know, when Jesus comes into our lives, there's an impact of change. We can't stay the same when he comes. We can't stay the same. The rough places in our lives have to be made smooth, and the awful things that we do, all the uneven things in our lives have to be sorted out, and there has to be a highway in the desert, the highway for our God, a path he can tread in our lives, an entry into our hearts. And it says in verse 9 that this voice would say to the cities of Judah, behold your God. And John the Baptist did exactly that. He said, and John records it, and he said, when Jesus passed by, he said, behold the Lamb of God, there he is, there he is. That was his job, was to say, here he is, there he is. To begin with, he said, there's one coming. He's coming. He's coming. I can't even untie his shoes. I'm not worthy to even stand in his presence, but he's coming. Get ready. He's coming. He's coming. And then when Jesus came and John recognized him for who he was and baptized him, then he said, this, behold, here he is. Here he is. He's arrived. Have a read of Isaiah 40. It's a beautiful chapter. It's got some wonderful, precious verses in it. But read it just thinking about the one who would come as the herald, John the Baptist. Such a wonderful figure, such an obedient man. A difficult task, a very difficult task, but what a wonderful task to be able to say, hey everybody, the waiting is over. He's coming. He's gonna, any moment now, he's arriving, he's coming. Oh, if only we could have the excitement about Jesus that John the Baptist had, so that we could, without fear of reproach or anything else, could say to people, do you realise what we've celebrated this Christmas? The coming of Jesus into the world. His coming changes everything. Have a great day. See you tomorrow. Bye.